Welcome to another adventure with Ingrid and Chris. Tonight, we journey to the mysterious land of Elysia, where magical mirrors reflect not only the world around them, but the truths hidden within. Join us as we follow a brave young boy named Finn, who will uncover secrets that could save his village. Prepare for a bedtime story filled with wonder, bravery, and the magic of self-discovery. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more captivating bedtime adventures. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between the edges of the vast whispering woods and the rolling fields of endless blooms, there was a legend passed down through generations. It spoke of a hidden place called Elysia, a realm where mirrors grew like flowers, each one more beautiful and more magical than the next. It was said that these mirrors did not just reflect what was on the outside, but also what was inside your heart, your hopes, your fears, and your true self. In the village lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was curious by nature, always eager to explore new places and fascinated by the stories of Elysia that his grandfather used to tell him. Finn's grandfather had once been an adventurer, and he often spoke of Elysia as if he had seen it himself. He would tell Finn, "The mirrors show you what you need to see, not just what you want to see." Finn loved these stories, but he never imagined they could be real. One day, something strange happened in the village. The flowers in the fields began to wither, their colors fading, and the once crystal-clear waters of the nearby brook turned murky. The villagers were worried, and no one knew why these changes were happening. But Finn had a feeling deep in his heart that it had something to do with the legend of Elysia. That night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Finn sat by his window, gazing at the stars. He could hear the whispers of the wind, almost as if it was calling him. He knew what he had to do. He had to find Elysia and uncover the truth. With his best friend, a brave little firefly named Glow, by his side, Finn set off towards the whispering woods. The woods were dark, but the moonlight filtered through the branches, lighting their path. Glow buzzed around Finn, her tiny light flickering as she led the way. They walked deeper into the woods, past ancient trees with twisted branches and over small streams that glistened in the moonlight. As they ventured further, they came across an old stone archway, half covered in ivy. It was unlike anything Finn had ever seen before. Finn paused, his heart pounding. He could feel the magic in the air, a gentle hum that seemed to vibrate through the ground. Glow landed on his shoulder, her light growing brighter. "This must be the way to Elysia," Finn whispered. Taking a deep breath, he stepped through the archway, and in an instant, everything changed. Beyond the archway was a beautiful clearing, bathed in silver light. All around the clearing, mirrors of every shape and size stood like flowers, their surfaces shimmering with a soft glow. Finn's eyes widened in awe. It was just as his grandfather had described, a field of mirrors, each one reflecting the light of the moon and the stars. But there was something else, something darker. In the center of the clearing stood a large, cracked mirror, its surface dull and its frame covered in vines. Unlike the other mirrors, it did not glow. Instead, it seemed to draw in the light around it, casting a shadow over the clearing. Finn felt a chill run down his spine. He knew that this mirror was the reason the village was changing. Glow buzzed around the cracked mirror, her light flickering. "What do we do, Finn?" she asked, her tiny voice filled with worry. Finn stepped closer, his reflection barely visible in the cracked surface. He could see his own eyes staring back at him, filled with fear and uncertainty. He knew that if he was going to save his village, he had to face whatever the mirror was hiding. Taking a deep breath, he reached out and touched the mirror. The moment his fingers touched the glass, a wave of cold washed over him, and the world around him shifted. Finn found himself standing in a dark, endless space, surrounded by shadows. The cracked mirror floated before him, and in its reflection he saw something that made his heart ache. His own fears, his doubts, the moments he had felt small and powerless. But then he saw something else. He saw his grandfather's face, smiling at him, his eyes filled with pride. He saw Glow, her light shining brightly, always by his side. He saw the villagers, their faces filled with hope. Finn realized that the mirror was not just showing him his fears. It was showing him what he needed to overcome. It was showing him that he had the strength to make a difference. Finn closed his eyes, focusing on the warmth in his heart. The love he had for his village, the courage that had brought him here, the belief that he could make things right. Slowly, the shadows began to fade, and the light returned. The cracked mirror began to glow, its surface healing, the cracks disappearing one by one. When Finn opened his eyes, he was back in the clearing. The cracked mirror was no longer dark. It glowed with a soft, warm light, just like the others. The vines had fallen away, and the shadow over the clearing had lifted. Glow buzzed around Finn, her light flickering joyfully. "You did it, Finn. You healed the mirror." Finn smiled, his heart filled with warmth. He looked around the clearing, the mirrors reflecting the light of the moon and stars, their surfaces shimmering with magic. He knew that the changes in the village would soon be reversed, that the flowers would bloom again, and the waters would run clear. But Finn's journey was not over yet. As he looked into one of the mirrors, he saw a path reflected in its surface, a path that led deeper into Elysia, to places unknown. He knew that there were more secrets to uncover, more adventures to be had. With Glow by his side, he stepped towards the mirror, ready for whatever lay ahead. As dawn began to break, Finn and Glow made their way back to the village. The first rays of sunlight were just beginning to touch the fields, and Finn could already see the flowers starting to regain their colour, their petals opening to the morning light. The brook, once murky, now sparkled as it flowed through the village, its waters clear once more. The villagers gathered at the edge of the fields, their faces filled with wonder. Finn's grandfather stepped forward, his eyes shining with pride. "You did it, Finn," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "You found Elysia, and you saved us all." Finn smiled, his heart swelling with joy. "I couldn't have done it without Glow," he said, looking at his tiny friend, who buzzed happily beside him. That night the village celebrated under the stars. Lanterns were lit, and music filled the air as the villagers danced and laughed, their hearts light and their spirits lifted. Finn sat by the edge of the brook, watching the water sparkle in the moonlight. Glow landed beside him, her light flickering softly. "What did you see in the mirror, Finn?" she asked, her voice gentle. Finn looked up at the sky, the stars twinkling above. "I saw myself, my fears, my doubts. But I also saw my strength, my courage. I saw the people I love, and I realized that I have the power to make a difference." Glow nodded, her light growing brighter. "And you did, Finn. You saved the village." Finn smiled, his gaze on the horizon. "This is just the beginning, Glow. There are more mirrors out there, more secrets to uncover. And I know we're going to find them, together. And so Finn and Glow saved the village and restored the magic of Elysia, proving that true courage comes from facing our fears and believing in ourselves. If you enjoyed this adventure, please like and subscribe to join us on more bedtime journeys with Ingrid and Chris. Sweet dreams, little adventurers, and remember, sometimes the greatest magic lies within.